Today's video is going to be on the contemporary topic of the fear of getting skinny. When I was younger, like anyone before puberty, I was quite skinny, and then after I started puberty, I found that I was still quite skinny. So I tried to solve this as best as I could when I was young. I lifted water bottles, and when they got too light, I asked to go to the beach for the sole purpose of filling water bottles with sand to lift those. I didn't have any weights to lift, and I was still considered quite young to be wanting to get into things like that. So I tried that. I tried copying my brother and my dad by doing push-ups and various bodyweight exercises, but I still didn't feel happy with where I was. And fast forward to my teenage years, I ended up starting to lift weights around about the age of 15. I had some sets at home. Before that, I'd been doing push-ups and trying to get better at them. And I spent all this time in pursuit of not being skinny, which is quite the opposite from most teenage girls. At the age of 15, it was also the same time that my dad got me into a gym. And I wasn't technically allowed to be there, but I wanted to use the weights, I wanted to get bigger, I didn't want to feel small anymore. And then, I think it was when I was about 16, 17-ish, I started reading a bunch of bodybuilding things, would eat a lot, tried to get bigger that way, just completely failed and got fat. And it's only been recently that I've gotten to a kind of size where I'm happy-ish. And this is not the size that I want to end up at. This I still consider quite small. But there's always the fear of getting skinny again, losing muscle. I had an experience not that long ago where, due to massive depression, I just had a huge breakup, and certain life circumstances before that had been horrible. So I lost the ability to really eat. Like, I didn't want to. I didn't feel hungry at all. And I'd just gotten a pretty nasty hand injury that meant that the only times I could weightlift would be while drunk or while on the bunches of different pain meds I had to be on for nerve damage. And fortunately, the nerves have healed and everything's okay. But I got really skinny because I couldn't eat. And then I started to gain some muscle back, and what happened was I got thrown into a different set of life circumstances where I also ended up gaining body fat. So it's been fighting against going back to having no muscle, or feeling like I have no muscle. I have plenty of pictures of when I was skinnier and when I was younger. I was very active, very outdoorsy, but I still didn't look anything like the way I wanted. I felt really weak, I looked weak, and I knew even from a young age that I wanted to look a lot stronger, and spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to do that. So that's one of the reasons I like lifting. Of course, there's loads of other reasons, but that is definitely a big one, just to feel more comfortable with myself. And I guess that's one of the bad things about cutting, and also it's a good thing and a bad thing. So when you're cutting down body fat, sometimes you lose some muscle, and sometimes when you strip away the body fat from an area, you realize that you're not actually as big as you thought. And at certain times you look really, really big from angles and certain things because you don't have anything covering the muscles, and if you've developed them to a decent size, you look pretty big. And then when you're not flexing and the angles are different, you look a bit small. So I've got different pictures where people will think I look really big, but I'm actually not that big. It's just good angles, good lighting, and I'm flexing. So the goal is to try and look a little bit bigger while not flexed, which I think is actually starting to happen a little bit this year. I don't look super, super tiny right now, but could be improved. I guess it's not really something I talk about with loads of people because it tends to be a typically masculine thing. It's always women that are wanting to go for the kind of skinny look, and it's in all the different magazines. But I've never really wanted to be skinny. I wanted to be bigger and really lean, which is different from skinny, whereas like it's more not having that much muscle and not much fat and just looking bleh. I don't want to look toned. I hate the word toned with passion. I would rather people were like, oh, you're lean or you're ripped or you're jacked or whatever, the typical men terms, because it's only when I started transitioning into using men's programs and a men's sort of way of thinking that I started getting better results, because women's things tend to be more towards getting a certain look, and it's not the look I want to go for. If I wanted that look, I would have just gotten to where I did when I was 16 and stopped, because it was then that I'd hit kind of a benchmark in what women want to look like, and I just don't really fancy that. It doesn't serve any of my hobbies or purposes that I like doing, and it just, I don't know, I just didn't feel that great doing it. So, yeah. I've joined the whole thing with an absolute fear of the thought of looking skinny and being referred to as skinny.